Hey everyone, what is going on? So I have another video for you today. These are battles that I did, and it's a pretty lengthy video. It's about a half hour, a little bit over a half hour. But yeah, I went 14-1 with this team, and at the time I did these battles pretty highly ranked. It's the first day. But nonetheless, still battling really powerful teams. The team is going to be Medicham with Double Ice, Dewgong, and Alolan Sandslash. And the Drill Run, let me tell you, helped out Dewgong, and it helped out Sandslash as well. Super, super powerful team. Now, of course, we see a Dewgong mirror match right now, and I do have to win Switch because I cannot have my Medicham on that Sableye, right? So, I do have to win Switch at all costs, but I could take this. It's not like they could farm me down afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and take that Drill Run. And I'm going to be able to go for another Drill Run. Kind of expecting them to shield. So maybe I could have went for the Icy win, but I throw the Drill Run anyway, and they do shield. So that's fine. I think I shield this as well. This is going to be the Icy win. But that's fine. And I do get to a Drill Run, but will my opponent decide to shield this one? I really do need to win Switch. I do not want Medicham on that Sableye, and they do shield, unfortunately, and they throw an attack. Now, because, I can't make it to another attack, I do have to let this one go. So I'm just hoping with a shield advantage, maybe Sandslash can win. So I had to win Switch at all costs. Unfortunately, I was not able to, but I do get a good amount of farm. And what comes in, it's going to be my opponent's own Alolan Sandslash, a Shadow one at that. So, my Drill Run is going to be doing a lot of damage to theirs. And for some reason I switch out. I don't know why I switch out. So now I have my Medicham on Sableye. But because I have Ice Punch, this is totally fine. I mean, they have to throw an attack. Ice Punch is going to add up. I still have my Sandslash. I still have a shield, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. So even though I didn't win Switch, even though I had to, it's still looking really good for me because I'm going to be able to fire off this Ice Punch right now to get the Sableye really low, and I do get knocked out, and I take this Foul Play because I'm like, well, you know what, I'd rather take this Foul Play than possibly taking a Drill Run because a Drill Run would likely KO me, and I know I could take a Foul Play. And I do get to a Drill Run against the Sandslash. So I'm going to be able to take this game even though I lost Switch. So my opponent's actually running the same backline as me, but they do have a Sableye in the lead instead of the Medicham. So I do lose the lead, but again, able to overcome it. Good game. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so not all these games are super meta, because again, it is still early, but a lot of them are. Okay, so Venomorph into Electrode, totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Icy Wind right now, expecting a shield from my opponent. No reason to throw the Drill Run, and my opponent does shield it up. I do go ahead and shield this one, and it's going to be a Foul Play, so that's fine. And I am going to... Well, I should have thrown a turn earlier, but whatever. I'm going to go ahead and shield this, and it's going to be another Foul Play. And I throw the Drill Run because I know Drill Run will be enough to KO. Not sure if my opponent's going to go ahead and shield it. My opponent does go ahead and shield it. And I do get to another one, so I do take Switch over that Venomorph. And of course, Alolan Sandslash does resist all the moves that Venomorph has, right? So, looking really good for me that I win Switch. Umbreon is coming in. Medicham's going to like that, especially since I get a debuff, right? I'm going to be able to apply the debuff onto the Umbreon, which is really good. So the debuff coming out, and it was CMP, which is even better for me, right? So I could just let the Umbreon go, or I could let the Dewgong go, and bring in my Medicham right now, and now out comes the Venomorph. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Alolan Sandslash, and my opponent is going to go ahead and get off an attack. Going to be a Poison Fang, no problem. I do double resist that, so I'm just going to charge up to 2 Ice Punch attacks. You could run a Shadow Alolan Sandslash. To be honest, that's probably a little bit better, but I'm running the non-Shadow. It's a rank 1, so that's why I'm running the non-Shadow. I do farm down. I do have attacks ready to go, plus I still have that Medicham. Yeah, I'm going to be able to take this game. Just going to go ahead and throw the Ice Punch. And I do throw another Ice Punch right now. And this is going to get the Umbreon low. One more Ice Punch will be enough to KO, but I imagine they get off an attack, and they do. So this is going to be enough. I should be enough. It's Dark Pulse, right? To KO the Sandslash as it is. But I could bring in my Umbreon and go for the farm down. My opponent actually gets off a last-second move, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to be Psychic as well, but the Umbreon will faint. And that is going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent, and I'm going to be able to take that one. Moving on. Medicham into Swampert. Okay. So, Swampert's interesting. Ideally, you do want to catch a Hydro Cannon on Dewgong, and I do go for the catch, but you might not necessarily catch it, right? Because, you know, a lot of times the Swampert doesn't throw right away, so you could try and switch a turn later, maybe when they get to Earthquake, you could try and catch the Hydro onto that Dewgong. So I was not able to catch it, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Drill Run into the Walrein. And my opponent actually shields it. I do get off an over, but no, my opponent does get off an attack first. I let it go. Gonna be that Earthquake as expected, doing a lot of damage. Now, do I need to win switch here? I guess we'll find out. Let's go ahead and go for this Drill Run. I don't necessarily have to win switch. I mean, they do have a Swampert. And they did throw the Earthquake, so like they're out of energy, which is good. So I'm gonna be hit with an Earthquake, which will be enough to KO. So I bring in my Medicham. My opponent actually switches into Ninetales. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Sandslash. This is a great matchup for Alolan Sandslash. Even though I don't have Gyro Ball, of course you're not going to have Gyro Ball now with a Drill Run option. But you do resist all these moves. Although look at that. That still did a lot of damage. So I think I go for the Farm Down, and I do think I shield, because remember, the Swampert is out of energy, right? So it's not like they're going to be able to come in immediately and throw a Hydro Cannon at me. So what I'm going to do is shield that and Shadow Claw down that Alolan Ninetales. Really good for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw this Drill Run right now from my Sandslash into the Walrein, and now out comes Swampert. But again, out of energy as we know, so I'm going to be able to throw this Ice Punch. It does get it low, and my opponent is just going to concede, so I'm going to be able to take that game. Good game to my opponent. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Medicham into Sandslash, the Dream Lead. So the switch into Pelipper. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Dewgong. The good thing about going into Dewgong is they can't throw Weather Ball unless if it's a bait, because if they throw Weather Ball, it's resisted. So chances are they're not going to throw it, and if they do throw it, it's going to be a bait. They're not going to throw it right away. So I do shield the first one, and it is that Hurricane, so that's good for me. So I'm going to be able to debuff. And you know what? I could have thrown to get rid of it before having to take this. But now I could just go ahead and take the Hurricane and farm down. So that works for me as well. I do have a lot of energy. If the Sandslash comes in, it does have to watch out for my Drill Run, but in comes the Deoxys, which I do think is actually pretty good for this meta. I totally forgot to put Deoxys in my meta guide video, and you know, some of you called me out on it, and yeah, I do think Deoxys actually gained play in this meta just because there's a lot Ice types became really popular, right? So that's going to help Deoxys. And then aside from that, Trevenant is not really relevant as much anymore, so that's why it's going to lose. That's why it's going to gain. It's going to become more popular, Deoxys. Anyway, the reason I brought in the Sandslash is because I know I have the Medicham for this Sandslash. So I'm going to be able to get the shields with my Ice Punch right now from Medicham. So I'm going to go ahead and go for one. I do get the shield. This one has to get the next shield. If it doesn't, it's going to put that Deoxys very, very low. And they don't shield, so I'm going to be able to take that game. Good game, well played to my opponent. But going to be able to win that one. Yeah, this team just did really, really well for me. So Medicham into Drapion. Okay, so neutral matchup, it's okay. Obviously the Crunch is going to do a lot, but it's not terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and just let the first one go through. And there's the Crunch. A lot of times when you see the Shadow variant, you do see Aqua Tail on it. And this is going to be Aqua Tail, so I'm actually not going to go ahead and shield this one. And I'm going to be able to get off this Ice Punch right now into the Drapion. And can I count it down? I'm going for it. I do barely count it down. You love to see it. Don't know what's coming in. It's going to be a Trevenant. So I did say Trevenant is less common, which is true. But you'll still see it, especially earlier on in the season, a handful of times. So I'm going to bring in my Dewgong immediately. Maybe force a switch from my opponent. My opponent does switch out into the Obamasnow. I do have that Sandslash, so I'm looking really good. I do go ahead and get off this Icy Wind right now. And my opponent is debuffed. You'll love to see it. I think I shield this. I do shield it. So it's going to be an Energy Ball. I knew they wouldn't bait. I mean, I live that, especially since they're debuffed. But I might as well shield it. and then get off this Icy Wind, which will be enough to KO or pick up the shield. And I do pick up the shield, which is nice. So Obamasnow is going to go ahead and get off another attack. Just let it go. Dewgong, I mean, they're double debuff. I love Dewgong now. I'm going for the Farm Down, and I do get it. I can go ahead and immediately click on Icy Wind. I know they're going to shield. I mean, they have to, but I debuff them, and then I switch into my Sandslash, right? So, plus I still have a shield, so I'm going to go ahead and safely shield this. Even though I live a Shadow Ball, I'm still going to go ahead and shield it. And there's the Shadow Ball. And that is going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent there. And yeah, I'm going to be able to take that one. And there's the first 5-0. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. It's going to be Medicham into Surfetched. Okay, if you got to see a fighting type, obviously you do want to see it in the lead. The backline is weak to fighting. So out comes Azu. Okay. So I make a little bit of a mistake. I switch turn soon to try and catch the play rough. But that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take this. Unfortunately, they do have Hydro Pump. If they didn't have Hydro Pump, I resist all the charge moves, but they do have Hydro Pump. So that's not great for me, but I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do. Go for the Bulldoze. Now my opponent can throw whatever they have. Ice Beam or Play Rough. I'm going to go ahead and get off this Drill Run. If my opponent lets it go, I could probably shield and farm down. I think they'll let it go, and they do let it go. So now I could shield and go for the Shadow Claw down. I'm hoping I can Shadow Claw down before my opponent bubbles down, but I think I can. And it looks like I'm barely able to. Very nice, you love to see it. So I did give up a shield there, but my Medicham does have energy. I could have switched out immediately instead of trying to catch, I guess, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Ice Punch. And I do pick up a shield, so now I can bring in my Medicham. So that worked out for me. Out comes Skarmory, and I do go ahead and bring in my Dewgong. And I can go for the Icy Wind right now. So this Icy Wind is guaranteed to debuff, plus guaranteed to do neutral damage. So very nice indeed. My opponent is going to go ahead and get off an attack. Do I shield? I do not shield. Even if it's a Brave Bird, it is not. It's just a Sky Attack. And my opponent has another Sky Attack. But because of the debuff, I'm actually pretty confident I live this. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it go, and I barely live it. So I'm able to get off an Icy Wind, which will be enough to KO. And now out comes Surfetch, but I do have that Medicham. No reason to debate, in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and go straight for the Psychic, which will be enough to KO. My opponent does shield, which is a good shield, but that's fine. Little bit interesting, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and shield. It is a Night Slash. I knew my opponent wouldn't have a Brave Bird after this, though, so I'm going to be able to get off the Psychic, which will be enough to KO and take that win. So that is going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent there. You love to see it, yeah. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. I got the Medicham into the Jumpluff. I have two Pokemon in the back that can handle this. Now the Dewgong is weak to Energy Ball, and they are staying in, so I know they're going to throw the Energy Ball. So I might as well shield it. Look how much damage. They're almost at half health, right? They're pretty much at half health. Out comes Galarian Stunfisk, going to go ahead and go for, I guess it's a bait. Drill Run is super effective, but I want to debuff them first. They do not shield, but that's okay. And you'll see how little Rock Slide does after that debuff. I am weak to Rock Slide, but it really doesn't do much. Look at that. I could take another one. So totally fine for me. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Drill Run right now. See what my opponent wants to do, and my opponent lets it go. And now I could pretty much just take this and farm down. So looking really good. If the I wasn't expecting the Jumpluff to come in, but if it does come in, you know, I'm going to have an Icy Wind ready to go. And I do get it down, which is very nice indeed. The Jumpluff is coming in, and I do go ahead and get off my attack, which will KO or get a shield. So you'll love to see it. Despite a rough lead, still going to be able to get that shield. And I actually get to another one because they're going for the Fairy Wind down. You'll love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. So they do shield that. And now my opponent is double debuffed, and it's time for Sandslash to come in. I do resist all those moves. Out comes Swampert. Okay, I know this is a Hydro. I'm going to go ahead and shield this. I'd rather just shield this right now. Get off my Ice Punch. The Lowland Sandslash resists all those moves from Jumpluff, right? Acrobatics, Energy Ball, we know they have Fairy Wind. So Sandslash is looking really good. They can hit me, even if they ultimately end up KOing me with 2 attacks, it doesn't really matter. But they shouldn't get to another one, I don't think. They do not. And I have an Ice Punch. So don't even need the Sandslash, but I knew the Sandslash would be able to win it for me anyway. And yeah, this team is so good. Now the Dewgong is double legacy. Keep that in mind. Ice Shard, Icy Wind. That is double legacy, and then Sandslash with the Community Day Shadow Claw, that is legacy as well. Maybe have that from Community Day, but still really worth the investment, I think. Moving on, Medicham into Quagsire. So Quagsire is another new Pokemon. It did get Mud Bomb, and Mud Bomb did receive a buff, so I used it in my previous video. It is a good Pokemon as well. So here's the thing, I know they're not going to go for Stone Edge because I resist it, so they have to go for the Mud Bombs, so there's Mud Bomb. Now, I am throwing the bait here. Actually, my opponent is going to go ahead and throw an attack first. And it's going to be a Mud Bomb, of course. So I am throwing the bait, as I said. You could argue this is a mistake because my opponent doesn't shield. I guess that could be a mistake. Whereas, I would have been able to land the Psychic, but that's fine. I wasn't sure if my opponent would shield. I thought maybe they would have shielded. So Mud Bomb coming out, I could take Switch if I shield this. I don't shield it, I lose Switch. Now the issue here is if they have a fighter in the back, I'm in trouble and I'm just going to lose. So I'm just hoping they don't have it, and out comes Wolverine. That tells me they don't have it, otherwise they would have put it in against Dewgong. So that's good for me. It would have been better, I guess, to try and catch on Dewgong or something and switch out to lure out a possible fighter. But the thing is, I'm weak in the back to Quagsire as well, right? The Dewgong is weak to Stone Edge, and the Mud Bomb, obviously, into the Sandslash is not good because Sandslash is weak to that. So, kind of tough. I am going to go ahead and bait my Icy Wind here, expecting my opponent to shield, actually, but they do not shield. So, nice call by them not to shield that. Again, you could argue I shouldn't have baited, but whatever, I did. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and overfarm, go in for the drill run. I think I make a little bit of mistakes. Yeah, I could have overfarmed another one, but that's fine. My opponent actually shields that one, though. So now I'm going to bait again, because they shielded once. I'm thinking maybe they'll shield again. Maybe they're weak to ice. There's the shield. So that shield, that paid off for me. But if they throw the Icicle Spear, they're double debuffed, I think. It's not going to KO, so I knew they had to throw the Earthquake if they wanted to KO me. So I can bring in Sandslash, go for the farm down. I know this is an Icicle Spear because they threw the Earthquake into the Dewgong. I'm keeping track of energy. So I'm going to be able to farm down with my Alolan Sandslash, and my opponent wants no part of Sandslash. So it might have been something weak to Ice, who knows. Good game. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Medicham into Medicham. Okay, you've got to see the fighting type. If you've got to see the Medicham, you want to see it in the lead. Even if I lose this matchup, chances are there's not another fighting type in the back. So I'm not necessarily concerned even about losing the lead here because we have the fighting type in the lead. Now, there could be a fighting type in the back, but then that would be ABA fighting. It's not something too common. It exists, but it's not something too common. So I'm not too concerned with it. So very nice indeed. And okay, I go for the Psychic. I feel like they would have barely lived the Ice Punch. I'm not sure. Well, they shield, so obviously the Ice Punch. No, I should have went for Ice Punch. But whatever, it's fine. I actually live that. So I do lose Switch, but I get shield advantage. And I'm okay with this situation because the fighting type is gone now. So let's see what comes in. Gonna be Dewgong. So is it the same team? Is it Medicham Double Ice? Who knows? So I'm going to go ahead and go for my drill run. I am ahead in terms of energy. So again, I'm not really concerned. I just want to save the shields. So I'm going to go ahead and just save the shields for Sandslash. I know there's no fighter in the back. They would have put it in against Dewgong, and plus they had a fighter in the lead. I'm going to go ahead and go for the drill run right now. But I am thinking maybe there is a Sandslash in the back, which would be good for me. So yeah, I'm not really concerned with the catch. If it is a Sandslash in the back, they're not going to want to catch a drill run. So drill run is coming out, totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw my drill run right now, and I will see what in fact comes in. And there's a Sandslash, so it is the same team. And yeah, I'm up a shield, so I'm looking really good. Even if they double bait, and I don't, I should still be able to win that. Good game. Okay, moving on. Ooh, Lanturn in the lead. The Dewgong does not want to see that. I mean, this is not terrible for me, but again, yeah, I think the thing is, Dewgong is a safe swap on this team, and I can't really safe swap into it. Excuse me. I'm feeling much better, but I still got the cough. Okay, so I don't want to shield again, so I let it go. I think this is the one where there is a fighter in the back. So I said I went 14-1. I think this is the one I lose. Yeah, in comes the Medicham. I can't switch out. So I'm pretty sure this is the one game I lose. Because there is in fact a fighter in the back, and my opponent is going to go ahead and go for an attack. actually let it go. I don't know why I let it go. I had to, well, I was down a shield. If I shielded, they would have shielded. I don't know. I guess I had to shield. But if I shield Power Punch, I knew it wasn't a Psychic. I knew they had Power Punch after they threw that. But the problem is I'm going to be able to get off this Icy Wind. I don't know. Like, okay, so let's say I shielded the Medicham. I get off an Ice Punch or something, right? I get off an attack. They shield it. I have the Dewgong. That's still not looking good for me because they get off a Power Punch. I'm going to go ahead and shield it because I'm double weak to it. Yeah, this was looking really bad. Oh, they have double fighters anyway. So, yeah, at the end of that's right. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. They had double counter uses. Good game. So I'm going to be able to go 4-1 that set, but I'll take it. So regardless of how I played that, it didn't matter. So, yeah, moving up. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and move into the next set. And this set should be another 5-0 Medicham lead. You'll love to see it. This tells me that there's no other counter user in the back again. Could be, but generally speaking, that's not the case if we see a Medicham in the lead. So my Ice types are looking pretty strong in the back, but we'll see. I take that Psychic. I lose CMP. I have a really good rank 1. I have a rank 9, I think. By the way, there's an ice cream truck outside. I don't know if you hear that noise, but maybe you do in the background. Either way, my Medicham, I think no, I actually let it go. Pretty interesting. I guess I let it go because I knew I survived it, and I can get one off. So if they shield, I could farm down with Dewgong, and they do shield. So yeah, now I was okay with losing Switch there because the Medicham was in the lead, and I could farm down with Dewgong. I take some counter damage, but not too bad. Out comes Lanturn. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Druid. Now, is there a Noctowl in the back? If there is, my Ice types are looking really good. I switch out because I don't want to be hit with a Discharge, right? But I'm still going to go ahead and shield because the Discharge will still do a lot to me. And it's a Sand Slash. So I'm going to go ahead and no reason to bait. If they call it, obviously, that's not good for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it. They do shield, but that's fine. My opponent is going to go ahead and throw an attack. I do not want to be hit with a Driven, so I do go ahead and shield. I was expecting the Ice Punch bait, but it was still worth the shield. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this Driven right now. That will be enough to KO. And now out comes the Lanturn, and I do get to my Driven. And Driven is such a huge improvement over Bulldoze. Bulldoze is such a bad move. So Sandslash was held back. Sandslash was still not bad. Like, we saw it in, like, the Ultra League Weather Cup. It's still not bad, but, like, compared to Driven, it's just that much better, right? It's that much better. I wouldn't be surprised to see it in, like, regionals, to be honest. Okay, bad matchup. Obviously, Ghost types are tough. I'm going to go into my Dewgong. Oh, I remember this game. Oh, man. So, Bastiodon. Okay. So, before, even with Water Pulse, Dewgong really has no play against Bastiodon because Water Pulse doesn't do that much. But you two-shot the Bastiodon with Dewgong. Now, of course, my opponent can shield. And, you know, if you want, you could bait here. Is it risky? It is. So I'm not going to bait. Plus, I have 2 Drivens. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get both shields from my opponent because I did 100% expect them to shield. But my opponent's actually not going to shield this one. So I'm going to be able to knock out the Bastiodon. I guess because I could have come in, farmed down with Medicham and went for Psychic against, like, the Frostlass. I guess that's why. But I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Medicham now. And I'm going to go ahead and take this attack. It's going to be a Psychic. That's fine. I could take it. Don't really want to invest the shield. I actually get the defense drop, which is not great. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Psychic into the Medicham. And that does get it low. You love to see it. And do I shield this? I might shield this because of my Sand... No, I think I let it go. I do let it go because I want to get ahead on energy with my Sandslash. And I'm going to be able to get ahead on energy. I do take a lot, though. But the Shadow Claws, keep in mind, the Shadow Claws from Sandslash are super effective towards Frostlass. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Drill Run. My opponent lets it go. And I'm like, that Shadow Claw, I was going to call this, but because that Shadow Claw went through, I know it's going to KO even if it is a bait, so it doesn't matter, even if they had a Shadow Ball loaded. So I'm going to be able to take that, despite the Ghost lead, the bad lead. We beat 2 Ghost leads, right? So very cool there. Okay, Medicham. I feel like with this team, or with like Double Ice becoming popular, I feel like it will become popular. I feel like we might see a lot of double fighters moving forward. I have battled them a couple of times, so keep that in mind if you use this team. Obviously, double fighters is going to be tough, but every team has a weakness. But again, Medicham in the lead. You love to see it. You want to see it in the lead. I'm trying to get to another attack, and I do get to it. Most of the time I do lose CMP. Because at the end of the day, my Medicham is ranked 9. It's a really good Medicham. Low attack. I do take that matchup. I really needed to because my Ice type. I'm going to switch out right away. They do have Stone Edge, which is a threat for me. I think I actually double shield this. I do. So, not double shield this, but double shield. Going down 2 shields. So, I'm going to be able to... Actually, my opponent goes for the catch, so that's good that I didn't throw. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the drill run right now. I do have 2 drill runs. Will I get 2 shields from my opponent? I get 1. Will I get another one? Let's see. Because this will do a lot to that Shadow Alolan Ninetales. Not no, Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Sandslash. So they do double shield, which is really good for me. I know this is going to be a drill run. And it's still not enough to KO. And guess what? I'm able to get to another drill run. I got 2 shields. And I'm going to get the damage off on this Sandslash. Oh my gosh. So much damage. And I bring in the Medicham to farm it down. Quagsire is coming in. Can I make it to an attack? I would be able to if they went for the farm down, obviously. So they're not going to go for the farm down. They're going to throw the Mud Bomb. Good play. But I have the Sandslash. Now, I am weak to Mud Bomb, but I also can take a Mud Bomb. So I'm going to bring in my Sandslash right now. And my opponent does get to the Mud Bomb, but again, as we discussed, I can take it. It does do. I can't take another one. It does do a lot, so I do successfully get off this Ice Punch right now, and I'm going to be able to farm down and take that game. I was looking at my switch time, seeing when I could catch, but I wasn't able to catch. But I'm going to be able to win that game. Good game, well played to my opponent. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. Medicham into Pelipper. Not a good matchup. So Dugon, here I come. And out comes a Quagsire. Okay. Not that terrible, to be honest. By the way, I went 1 over. You do want to throw right away so you can debuff them ASAP. Even the mud shots are doing less after you debuff them, which matters. I mean, everything matters. But I think I over-tapped by accident. But either way, that's fine. Dugan is going to go ahead and get off another attack, which will be enough to KO or get the shield. And they do go ahead and shield. Now the Quagsire is double debuffed. You'll love to see it. I survive, but I think I still shield. I do. I think what I want to do now is farm down. I think I go for the farm down. And yeah, they do get to another one. But again, I do survive it. This Quagsire is double debuffed, so not really a problem. And yeah, I do go down 2 shields, but totally worth it. Swampert is coming in. I'm going to go ahead and go for this attack. Keep in mind, they do have the Pelipper. And out comes Pelipper. I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Sandslash. We know any attack Pelipper throws is going to be the Weather Ball. They cannot throw Hurricane because Hurricane is resisted. So you throw the Weather Ball here. And that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Ice Punch. And very nice indeed. My opponent still has a shield, but that's fine. And I do get to another one. Nice counting, nice throwing at CMP, but that's fine. This is not going to be enough to KO me, and I'm going to be able to get off another Ice Punch, which will KO or get the shield from the Pelipper. And it does KO. So out comes this Swampert. Can I make it? Oh, I barely cannot make it. Really unfortunate for me. I bring in the Dugon, and I'm able to make it to the move because my opponent is going for the farm down. Now, I know my opponent is going to shield this, but I just wanted to debuff them. That was my ultimate goal, was to debuff. On the flip side, I could have tried to catch on the Dugon, but I was able to debuff them, which is really good for me. My opponent throws, even an Earthquake will not KO me, and it's a Hydro. And they have another one. And I actually don't live that other one. But thanks to the debuff, I'm able to actually take that win. The Dugon does get off the Ice Shard. Crazy, crazy game. I almost lost that. Good game. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. Okay, so first things first, I want to see if it's Charm, and it is Charm, so I switch out into Dugon. My opponent switches into Umbreon. I would love to win this matchup. Maybe I can. Let's find out. My opponent did stay in for a little bit, so let's see if we can win this one. They did do a lot of Charm damage, though, which is not ideal. I let it go. I feel like I should have shielded that. I don't know why I didn't shield that, because I think I shield later on. So obviously you want to shield the first one because it does the most damage. I guess probably because they were already... I don't know. Probably because they were already debuffed, but now they're double debuffed. But again, I mean, new team, new season. So foul play. See, I shield this one, so shielding the first one would have been better, but it's all good. I do get off the Icy Wind. And that's good, and my opponent does get off an attack. Oh, man. And unfortunately, they get off another one, but I live it, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. But again, shielding the first one would have been better. But look at that. I still live that. They could go for the Drapion. Dewgong is amazing. I love it, especially using my shiny one. I love it. I love it. I do pick up the shield, which is nice, and now the Sand Slash can come in. Sand Slash does resist all these moves. Well, if it's Charm, chances are it's not Dazzling Gleam. Most of the time, that's what I've noticed, right? Dazzling Gleam would still do a lot. Azu coming in, I immediately switch into my Medicham. And this is fine. Medicham is not terrible against Azu, right? And I do let this go, even if it's a Play Rough. I actually don't think Play Rough KOs me. It doesn't, so I'm going to be able to get to another Psychic, which is really good for me. So I do get to the Psychic. Maybe I'll pick up the shield from the opponent. And I do, in fact, pick up that shield. I do shield this, because I'm like, well, you know, now I know they have Ice Beam and Play Rough, but I'm like, well, and in comes the Ninetales. I'm like, you know what? The Hydro Pump will do more to me than anything this Ninetales can throw at me, right? So I KO that. The Azu's coming in. I'm going to go ahead and throw another Drill Run because I absolutely love Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash and Dewgong are amazing. My opponent actually barely makes it to an attack, but I know they don't have Hydro Pump, so I know I live the Play Rough for the Ice Beam, and it's the Ice Beam, and I live it, and I'm going to be able to take that game. So it's going to be a good game. Quite a few good, tough games, but still able to overcome it. That's going to be the 4-1, and I'm going to be able to take that. So yeah, 14-1 with this team. Absolutely love it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, sticking it out for a half hour. Have a good day. Bye.